Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY farmhouse wreath love message board. And this is not necessarily for Valentine's Day, but we are going to use a heart-shaped wreath form from the Dollar Tree, as well as a variety of ribbons. We have ribbon from Hobby Lobby, from Walmart, some from the Dollar Tree. We're going to mix them all together in the farmhouse neutral colors. We're going to use this heart-shaped chalkboard and then 2 pipe cleaners. You don't need, or chenille stems or whatever you call them. You of course need your glue and scissor. So the first thing we want to do is we want to prep the board that's going to go in the background. I just took a piece of old ribbon. It's not even sandpaper. I took a piece of old burlap ribbon just to rub off all the excess glitter. It's going to hide behind the wreath. We're only going to use the chalkboard that's in the middle, so I'm not worried about it too much. I took a pipe cleaner and I cut 2/3 off, and I put 2/3 through the holes at the top of the board. Then I'm taking that one remaining third and I'm gluing them on both sides on the bottom, and that's just to help to keep it secure from rolling around. I like to put a big glob of hot glue, put the pipe cleaner in there and roll it around so there's glue on the top and the bottom, and then I'll set it off to set up. Okay. The 2 pipe cleaners at the top, I fed them through halfway and then I twisted them so they wouldn't come out. Now we're going to make a ribbon wreath. This is sort of like the burlap wreath. I know we've done this on our channel before. The technique is very, very simple. We're not going to use any fasteners other than the pressure of the ribbon and the wires that are in the ribbon itself. So we're going to start off with this ribbon. This ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. It was a Christmas ribbon that I got for $5 for 75 feet. I have tons of it. I'm so glad I'm finally getting to use it for a project other than just making bows. So we're going to take the very, very end of the ribbon and we're just going to start on the upright support just to the left of the bottom peak. And we're going to take the end of the ribbon and just twist it around the middle there. And then we're going to start by just pulling loops up. We're going to pull a loop up in the front, and then we're going to pull a loop up in the back. And the pattern is sort of going to be like 2 sets of black and white check loops. 1 set of, this is ticking, this is called ticking. The ticking is wire edged. It is by Offray and it is from Walmart. We're going to use 2 loops of ticking. Then we're going to use 2 sets of loops from the black and white check. And then we're going to tie it off with a piece of Dollar Tree, the mini burlap with the black chenille, chevron, and then the black polka dots. We're going to switch them back and forth. So you'll see here I'm going to go at high speed just to get all the rest of those loops on. And then once you get all the loops on, we're going to take a piece of that ribbon. Now, when it was the ribbon that had the chevron pattern on it, the chevron is the zigzag. When it was the ribbon that had the chevron on it, I didn't worry about dovetailing it because the chevron does give you that illusion of dovetail already. But when it was the ribbon with the polka dots, I went ahead and I dovetailed it. Okay? Just to have a little bit different. And I didn't use any fasteners for this either, other than the wire into the ribbon. I basically put the ribbon on around the wire and just twisted it once. Basically, whatever came through the front hole, where the front space went towards the back, whatever came through the back space went towards the front, and that's it. I just twisted it one time and it holds. And that's just to help. You know, I have arthritis and sometimes you wish you had 27 hands. But that's what I like about this project is because you don't have to have like a real tight grip. You just have to hold the ribbon as you're working towards that starting support piece, the support piece, that upright that goes perpendicular to the wires in the heart. You just want to keep pushing your work down to it until you get it stuffed enough where if you let go, it won't fall out. Okay? And then this is what I was talking about with the chevron piece. I actually have this on backwards. I put it in backwards, so forgive me. But you want to put it where the underside of the ribbon is facing up, and when you twist it, you won't have to worry about twisting them around. But you'll see how easy it is that if you do it wrong, you just twist them around. And then you're just going to repeat this same pattern all the way around. So I'll just go over the pattern again with you. I started with 2 sets, basically a loop in the inside ring and a loop in the outside ring twice of the buffalo check, and then I did a set of the ticking, and then I did 2 sets of the buffalo check, and then I did 1 tie-on of the burlap, and then I repeated that pattern. 2 sets of buffalo check, one set of ticking, 2 sets of buffalo check, and then I switched the pattern on the burlap ribbon. I switched from chevron to polka dots. Now, while you're making this, it's pretty, but it's a mess, and it will be a mess, and it's intended to be a mess. We're going to get to fluffing stage in a minute. When you fluff it is really when this thing comes to life, and I kind of feel like that's a way with a lot of different wreaths that we make, or projects even. Sometimes the projects you're like, oh, that's a hot mess, and then when you go ahead and you zhuzh it or you finish it, you put the finishing touches on it, that's when it really comes to life. Now I will tell you that the ticking ribbon is 2.5 inches as well, and it's 9 feet, which is like 3 yards, which, you know, sometimes the Dollar Tree ribbon says 9 feet, sometimes it says 3 yards, and I ended up needing more. I only got 2/3 the way around the wreath with that one roll, but it was okay because I had more. So if you are going to do this project and you're going to go out and shop for the project, make sure you have about at least 12 feet worth of the accent ribbon. Now when we've made this, well, we haven't actually made one of these burlap wreaths before on our channel, I have to tell you. We just made this technique using mesh on an Americana wreath, I believe. But this is basically, I've made wreaths like this before. They're burlap wreaths with an accent ribbon. This is the first time I ever used the little tie-ons in the middle, just because my hands were feeling less than like steady, so I wanted to use that little extra tie-on. Plus a little accent is nice too. But if you noticed real quickly, as I'm telling you about the wreath, I went ahead and I switched the ribbons. I first added the second type of ticking ribbon, and then I switched to the second roll of the buffalo check ribbon, which was so funny because it took me so long to use the first roll. 75 feet does really last a long time. All I did was twist off the ends of the first thing and then twist it on the ends. I didn't worry about the fact that the ends were sticking up, because once you have this thing all jammed together, you can't notice the little cut pieces. And even if you did, it wouldn't be objectionable, right? But I wanted to just mention 2 things. The burlap, not the burlap, yeah, sure. The buffalo check ribbon that I'm using is homespun, which means it's woven in the pattern, so it's the same on the front and back. The original ticking that I started with was also homespun, but the ticking that I added at the to finish it off wasn't. So keep that in mind when you're using your technique. If you have a ribbon that's printed on one side, you'll have to twist it underneath. Basically put your 2 loops through, twist it so that you can go back in the same direction. And now we're going to zhuzh it. This is the time where I'm taking up and I'm opening all of that. I really want to show the accent of the ticking and the accent of those burlap ribbons. I'm just opening them up and laying them nicely. There's so much buffalo check that you just want that to be almost the background. Okay. And now it's time to tie on. I just have single pieces of pipe cleaner down the bottom. I'm just going to stick it underneath the wreath and then just twist it onto itself. And the top, I'm just going to basically twist them on wherever they lay. But you can see there is just a small heart in the middle here, which works out perfectly. Now I'm just using a regular, this is a washable, reusable marker. I have, what am I saying? I did not, excuse me, prime this chalkboard, but I also don't want to change the message on this chalkboard for myself. But to prime the chalkboard, you know, you take a piece of chalk, you rub it on the side, you then wipe it all off. Don't wash it off, just wipe it off. And then you can go ahead and use any like of the dry erase markers from the chalk markers, excuse me. You don't want to use a wet erase chalk marker, because then you'll have to prime your board again. But I just wrote I love and you, and that's it. And I love it. You could add a bow if you want to, but I think it's got enough. It doesn't need it. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in making this or going over this ribbon technique. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you guys take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye.